I wouldn't necessarily call today's video a big fail, but I did not achieve the results that I was looking for. So I was hoping to take an art journal page that had a lot of texture, collage, paint, and on that page, create an abstract kind of portrait. What can I say? I, again, overworked it. It's slightly abstracted, but not really. And so I guess the takeaway from this is you can set out to do something in your mind when you're making art, but somehow your own self takes over and you need to be able to stop or I don't even know what to say, like try to get out of yourself a little bit. So, and I didn't today. I was like, I kept going, and then actually the camera was off, and then I kept going, and then I came back and kind of showed you the end result. It's not like it's a perfect portrait by any stretch of the imagination, because I did not use a reference photo. I did not get the measurement, the proportions correct or anything like that. But I was hoping to make it quite a bit different than what I did. But I feel like I'm on the right track in terms of this is something that I really want to do. And so I just got to continue to push myself to do it. And as I'm talking through the video or parts of the video, I even said like, oh my gosh, I should have just used non-traditional colors. And by that I mean not like skin tones, and because then it's already like I'm trying to make it like a real person, versus if I had used colored green or yellow or blue or whatever, I might not have ended up with the desire to make it look like a real person. So anyway, I think the whole concept, or at least for me, was, okay, this is the direction I want to go in. How do I achieve that? How do I continue to push myself to do something that I'm not as comfortable with? And I think that's the goal for all of us, right? Is to find something that we want to do and then practice, because we're not going to get it right the first time. We're not going to paint a perfect vase the first time, or a landscape, or flowers, or whatever it is that you want to do. We're not going to get it exactly right the first time. It's like, that's not quite what I was going for. But when we do it again and again and again, and we use different materials, we use different strategies and different ideas, and we come at it from a different angle, I think sometimes we can finally achieve something that what we're looking for. And what you're looking for is not going to be the same as what I'm looking for. So anyway, I'm going to share the process today with you, and I just kind of wanted to let you know up front that I feel like it was a fail in that, I finished that art journal page, but it wasn't exactly what I was going for. So anyway, even in your fails, there's always something to learn. It's all about experimenting. It's all about trying. And within that, it's just paint, it's just paper, so go and be creative and have fun, I guess, is the main point, right? So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. This probably seems like a very, very, very crazy place to start, but there's lots of layers of collage and really thick texture. And for whatever reason, I kind of see a image like this is the hair, maybe the face, an eye. I'm not really sure, but what I do know is that I want to keep it somewhat abstracted. And I have a tendency to overwork, especially when I'm doing portraits. I have a tendency to overwork them and just to keep going and going and going instead of just stopping and letting them be a little bit more raw. So I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that I can stop myself, because watching it progress on camera is different than when you're doing it in real life, obviously. And so I'm curious if you guys ever have this problem where you're working on something and you can't stop, and it sometimes in its raw or more primitive state, it's actually it can look better. So I think I'm going to jump right in. I'm keeping it very limited for a reason, in very neutrals, because this is kind of a crazy thing going on here, in the hopes that helps me. So I just have Titan Buff, Titanium White, Raw Umber, Raw Sienna, Payne's Gray, and Burnt Sienna. And then I have all my supplies on my table here at the ready. So I'm not going to limit myself necessarily. Like I might need a pencil or a piece of charcoal or something else, a Stabilo. I don't really know. I'll probably scrape through it at some point. I don't really know where it's going to go. But I thought I would start with this chunky piece of white charcoal just to kind of get the outline of what I'm thinking. like I said, that's probably hair. And I probably just need to start painting instead of trying to figure it all out ahead of time. Some of my favorite portraits or image, paintings and things aren't the ones that are rendered so perfectly. It's the ones, maybe this is like a crazy ear here. It's the ones that are a little more unique, and they speak to me in a way that the more perfectly rendered ones don't. They're just like, there's something in them. So I think I'm not gonna actually, I think it doesn't matter. So I don't know why I keep going, but I think it really doesn't matter how it goes. I just need to let it go. So I think first off, I want to lighten the face a little bit, and I'll probably work a lot of this in fast forward because it might be difficult to talk at the same time, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to mix a little bit of the raw sienna, kind of get a little more flesh tone, which probably is a mistake right there because, too late. Well, because I wasn't hoping to do this in a realistic way. I should have chosen like green and something else to kind of make the skin tone so that I wasn't so caught up in it. So maybe I'll just put this all over like this, and maybe a little bit on the neck, and then scrape through it because I'm going to grab my catalyst wedge. You can see the purple on there. I had leftover purple, which I hardly ever use, but sometimes I'm trying to get rid of the empty parts of tubes, and so I put some on and then I just scraped it over. So, and again, when you scrape, it brings out the texture, and there's just a lot of imperfection. In fact, I think I might grab, I have a rag over here, this paintbrush I had dipped in. I typically dip my paintbrushes before I start using them in water, just so that they don't get too gummed up, but anyway. Okay, I might grab a Stabilo, because now, of course, as I get going, that's not a Stabilo. I have all these tools. Yeah, okay, see, I'm overthinking it. I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna try maybe even not to talk too much and just kind of see where things go. I'm just gonna, I don't know if you guys ever have this problem where you think and then it doesn't really, it's not what you want. It's wonky. But maybe that's what I want. I don't really want a realistic image here. So this eye probably needs to be over. But I want it to be somewhat, that's a problem. I want it to be somewhat like, oh, that's a human figure and it's not so crazy. But then again, do I really want that? You say one thing, but then you do another. So, okay, and I think that might be an ear back there. Okay, what I might do is paint in the background. And I guess I could get a different paintbrush here. And using these colors, maybe I will this is a really kind of old paintbrush, like most of mine are. I like this writing in here though, but I kind of need to block this out so I can kind of see what I'm doing.
I know better than to call back. I missed your call. I finally think I'm fine with that.
I see already that the face, it needs to be like looking this way. So like a nose there maybe. And I also typically use reference photos. So to work without a reference photo is a big step for me as well. I like to kind of see what I'm making versus just kind of creating a face from my imagination, which is probably the opposite of what a lot of people do. But I like to figure out where the lights and darks are, and I just find it really helps me. But in this case, like I said, I really want to paint something a little bit more abstract, and so I think this is working better for me. And again, I can already see I don't need to overwork it. This is not going to be an ear. Not really sure how to delineate. Maybe I make this into some hair. Let's try that. Instead of, and leave this maybe as a hat instead. Okay, let's try this. That's the beautiful thing about having a super textured, really wonky, crazy background is you can maybe sometimes see something in it and then just kind of go from there. And I feel like this might be this upper color. I don't know. Yeah, I think this is fun. All right, let's make this a little bit more. Maybe have a dab of hair coming out there. This. Okay, might have messed that up. Okay. All right, I'm kind of liking where this is heading now. Let's, it's abstracted, but it's not completely, you can tell it's a person. I'm gonna think for a minute and then keep going. I think I've decided to leave the hat like this. It doesn't, I do like this kind of color or this piece of, maybe the color of this jacket or whatever that is rising up, but I think it looks like this is all combined. So I'm gonna leave the hat this color, and I wish I'd kind of left this front part. I don't know, maybe I'll try squirting it with some water, see if I can get some of that off. And then, not really. So I may have to add something in there, or maybe not. Again, it doesn't have to be realistic, but I want to come up with another color for this. I think I will do a darker, not using this brush. Let's use this brush that I'm going to make it just a darker, maybe I'll mix, I like mixing colors. Let's mix a little of that together. Oh, that's a cool color. Okay. And then make this the kind of the jacket or the shirt or whatever that happens to be. Actually, now that I pulled that across, I'm not sure. I think that would come down. So let's go back to this color, which was a mixture of the Payne's Gray and the Titan Buff. And I think it would make more sense. Again, it doesn't have to make sense, but I do, yeah, that looks good. And I think, what else? Maybe I'll kind of pull that across. Sometimes like the paintbrush strokes to go back and forth and to have different, sometimes people like to mix the exact same color, and I'm the exact opposite. I want a slightly different color so that it builds up, so it looks like there's lots of layers. And I think I'm gonna have this come down. Look at this brush, isn't that crazy? I like it, I like what it does. I'm gonna have it come down more like the neck. Okay. That seem right? That seems maybe I went too far. It's okay, we just kind of keep touching it up until it gets the right way. And then maybe there's a little bit more of a neck under here. Maybe not, but let's just see what happens. He's gonna have a little, it's a he now. I was thinking it was, I don't really paint guys. I always paint women, but this one does kind of look like, this chin maybe is too long. Again, am I starting to overthink it? Probably.
It hurts when love bites back, but it's your fault. I wish you'd just accept that. I got a better place to be, where the only focus is me. The away list got me feeling like I'm flying. I've been holding on to these dreams. I'm ready to take the leap, 'cause I've been holding back, and it always stops now.
And I just realized, oh my gosh, it's like he's got this back. If he's on the side or she's on the side, maybe it's a woman now, her back would not be like, wow. So again, am I overthinking it? Maybe. But I don't want her to be like, to be completely disproportionate. So yeah, maybe it's more like she's at the side angle. Okay, I don't know. But again, this is part of like just trying something different and trying to be a little bit looser and try something that maybe doesn't turn out exactly the way you normally work, but it still can be pretty cool. So, and it's a great exercise in trying something and seeing if you can be a little bit looser, which I am struggling with, I can tell, but let's see, I feel like maybe the chin should come up a little bit, maybe more like that. And am I starting to overwork it? I know you guys wish you were right here to tell me to stop or to tell me to keep going or to say this is very weird, which maybe it is, but okay, let's bring this down a little bit. And again, see, I have a hard time stopping. And maybe if I had used different colors, it would be easier to not make it have the desire to make it so little more realistic, I guess is the point. And there would be an ear maybe right there, but again, we're not doing that. Okay, did I ruin her by, at first I was like it was a guy, but now I'm wondering if it's a woman. Guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, looks more like a woman now, doesn't it? Okay, now I've got all the paintbrushes in my hands. Okay, I think the chin maybe comes out a little bit more, but then again, maybe it's too long. My gosh, okay. All right, well, okay, I feel like it is what it is. And kind of quirky, kind of interesting. Yeah, I think it is a woman. Let's give her a little bit more hair, and then I think we're going to call it. I just wanted to share this because I was getting ready to start, and I thought, oh, maybe this would be something you guys would be interested in, kind of watching the process. And hopefully, I was hoping to show some restraint, although I'm not sure I really did. But let's give her a little bit of bangs. Okay. Looks like her lip is a little wonky. Again, the whole point wasn't to make this realistic image, which of course, I feel like I did not follow my own rule. But then I guess we can make our own rules, right?
I know better than to call back. I missed your call, I finally think I'm fine with that. I know it hurts when love bites back, but it's your fault, I wish you'd just accept that. I got a better place to be, where the only focus
Okay, I made a few adjustments and I had forgotten to turn the camera back on. And, you know, I've overworked it again. So here's the thing. You can be your own worst enemy, I guess. It's like I want to do something and somehow I can't stop myself. And clearly doing something a little more abstractly is hard in terms of the figure for some reason. So she's a little odd, you know. I don't think that the proportions on her nose and her eyes and stuff are right, but I definitely did not need to keep working on it, but I couldn't stop myself. So that's the problem. I kind of painted around here a couple times. I kind of configured her eye when I was off camera, and I added some more brown strokes to her hair. So not a lot, but before I realized that the camera was not rolling. So anyway, I guess the lesson learned from here is like, just, you got to try something. And I did leave the original, I can't believe it. The original kind of concept was this hat, and I did see a figure or a face in there. And because I didn't use a reference photo, it's not quite as accurate as it would be. And I think if I had used non-traditional in terms of skin tones, I think I could have abstracted it a little bit more. But it kind of propels me on to the next thing and to try something different and to continue. Eventually, I feel like I will get more of an abstract portrait or figure, which is kind of where I want to head. But in the meantime, I think it's always good to try new things and to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit, no matter what it happens to be. And if you struggle making faces and portraits and things like that, I would definitely just, like I said, try. It doesn't really matter if it looks right. The more you do something, the better you get at it. And then like me, I want to go backwards and kind of make it a little bit more raw and more primitive looking. And then it's hard because you're like, no, it's supposed to look like this, and the eyes and the nose are too far apart and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I would definitely, if you have some crazy backgrounds in your art journal, definitely, you know, maybe this is something that would be fun to give a try. Maybe try using non-traditional colors, and it would become more abstracted. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.